All right, welcome to your personalized deep dive. So we're going to be looking at something that I know you're really interested in, and that is academic careers, specifically those STEM fields. And we're really zeroing in on how something as simple as promotion timing can have like a huge impact on a scientist's whole career, like their whole trajectory. So get this, we're headed to Poland for this deep dive. Researchers over there did this fascinating study. They tracked the careers of over 16,000 STEM academics over the last 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of data. And what's really cool is that they didn't just look at how MSCH these scientists published, but the WN. Like, when in their careers were they publishing?
Interesting.
Yeah. So the study suggests that the age and the speed of someone's promotion can actually predict their later productivity.
Yeah, you're right. That is a really significant finding. And you're right, this data set is pretty unique. It's not every day that researchers get access to this kind of longitudinal data, especially with this level of detail about, the timing of career events.
Right. It really makes you think, is there some kind of sacred spark that some scientists are just born with, setting them up for success right from the get-go? Or is it more about what they call cumulative advantage? Like, does early success just open doors that lead to more success? So, to understand the study's findings better, let's break down two key concepts here: promotion age and promotion speed. Okay, so think of it like running a race. Some runners hit specific milestones earlier than others, right? Some maintain a steady pace while others might speed up or slow down. The same idea applies to promotions in academia.
Yeah, that's a great way to visualize it.
Yeah.
And here's where the Polish academic system comes in. In Poland, promotions are very closely tied to a scientist's publication output, possibly even more so than in some other countries. So the timing of those promotions becomes a super important indicator of how well someone is doing, and potentially how much of an impact they'll have later on.
I see. And another detail I found really interesting was that the study actually normalized productivity for the prestige of the journal, like where the research was published. Oh, right. They used data from Scopus, which is an international database. So this let the researchers compare apples to apples, so to speak. It wasn't just about publishing a lot, it was about publishing in influential journals.
Right.
And since Scopus tracks research globally, the scientists' work is visible beyond Poland. So that gives the findings a broader significance.
Okay, interesting. And so what were the results?
Well, they were surprisingly consistent across different STEM fields, whether it was chemistry, engineering, or mathematics. Those who were promoted at a younger age and got promoted more quickly tended to be more productive later in their careers. It makes you wonder what's driving that correlation. There are some really striking examples from the study, like in chemical engineering. The assistant professors who were promoted earlier on were 3 times more productive than their peers who were promoted later. 3 times.
Yeah, those numbers are hard to ignore. This brings up a critical question. What are the implications of these findings? It's not just about interesting data points. This could have real-world consequences for how universities identify and support promising researchers early in their careers.
Yeah, and it goes back to that question of the sacred spark versus cumulative advantage. Is there some innate quality that sets some scientists apart? Or is it more about early wins leading to more opportunities and ultimately more success? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's a complex issue for sure, and there's probably no easy answer. But I think this study provides some really valuable insights.
Yeah, it really is a fascinating question. It's like nature versus nurture, but in like a scientific setting,
Yeah.
And the researchers in this study, they actually dug a bit deeper into that whole question using something called logistic regression.
Yes, they did. Essentially, logistic regression, it's a statistical technique that lets researchers analyze a bunch of different factors and try to figure out which ones are like the best predictors of a specific outcome. So in this case, they wanted to see if they could predict which scientists would end up being in that top 20% productivity group. It's a pretty common method, used in many fields, not just academia, when you're trying to understand what contributes to a particular result.
So did promotion, age, and speed turn out to be those magic predictors?
Well, they did have a statistically significant influence, which, it supports the idea that early career momentum matters.
Right.
The most powerful predictor they found was actually past performance.
That makes sense in a way, doesn't it? The scientists who were already publishing impactful research early in their careers, they were the ones most likely to continue doing so as they moved up the ranks.
Exactly. It suggests that there's something about those early achievements that sets the stage for continued success. Now, whether that something is primarily innate talent or a supportive environment or a combination of both is still up for debate. And that's precisely what makes this study so thought-provoking. It doesn't provide all the answers, but it pushes us to think critically about how the academic system works and how it might better identify and nurture potential.
Okay, so this study was conducted in Poland, but do you think these findings could apply to other academic systems around the world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? While the specifics of promotion systems vary from country to country, the pressure to publish and achieve milestones early on is something that exists almost universally in academia.
It's like this invisible force shaping researchers' career paths no matter where they are.
Exactly. And this study challenges us to think about how we can create academic systems that recognize and reward talent, but also provide the right kind of support so that everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential, regardless of their individual timeline.
So instead of just focusing on those who are already excelling, what if universities put more effort into providing support for those who might be on a slower track, but still have the potential to make significant contributions?
I think that's a really important point. It's about shifting our mindset from simply rewarding those who are already winning the race to creating a system that helps everyone reach the finish line in their own way.
So what do you think all of this means for our listener who's interested in pursuing an academic career? What are the key takeaways they should be considering?
Well, I think this study highlights a few key things. First, while early career success is certainly important, it doesn't necessarily define your entire career trajectory. There are many paths to success in academia, and it's important to find what works best for you. Second, finding good mentors and building a strong network of support early on can make a huge difference. And finally, don't be afraid to advocate for yourself and seek out opportunities that will help you develop your skills and advance your career.
This has been such a fascinating dive into the complex world of academic careers. It's made me think about the pressures and opportunities in a whole new light.
It's been a pleasure discussing these ideas with you. And for you, our listener, remember that this deep dive was specifically tailored to your interests. But the conversation doesn't have to end here.
We encourage you to explore these ideas further. And maybe even check out the full study if you're feeling extra curious. There's always something new to learn. And you never know, maybe you'll be the one conducting groundbreaking research and inspiring future deep dives.
Keep those questions coming, and best of luck on your journey.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. One thing that really struck me about this study was how it highlights the importance of, mentorship and support systems in academia. If early success can have such a big impact on a researcher's trajectory, then, creating environments that actually foster that success becomes super crucial, right?
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree with that. Imagine like a young researcher who's brilliant, but maybe doesn't have the same access to resources or networks as some of their peers. Without the right guidance and support, their potential might never be fully realized.
That's a really good point. Makes you wonder if there are things that universities could be doing more systematically, to provide that kind of support. Like maybe more formalized mentoring programs, or even just creating a culture where, collaboration and knowledge sharing are really encouraged.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, think about it. If someone is struggling to get their research published in, those high-impact journals early on, it could affect their promotion timeline. And according to this study, potentially even their long-term productivity.
But what if they had a mentor who could help them navigate that whole publication process? Or even connect them with collaborators who could really strengthen their research, those early interventions could make a huge difference. Yeah, totally. It seems like this study, while focused on the Polish system, is really raising some universal questions about how we identify, nurture, and support talent in academia in general.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Precisely. It's not about providing everyone with identical advantages, but about recognizing that everyone starts from a different place and might need different types of support to really thrive.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Well, this has been a really thought-provoking deep dive. It's definitely given me a whole new perspective on the challenges and opportunities in academic careers.
It's been great exploring these ideas with you. And to our listener out there, we hope that this deep dive has given you some food for thought as you consider your own career path.
And remember, this deep dive was designed specifically for you, based on your interests. But the conversation doesn't have to stop here. We really encourage you to delve deeper into these topics. Maybe even check out the full study. If you're feeling extra curious, there's always something new to learn. And you never know. Maybe you'll be the one conducting the next groundbreaking study that inspires a future deep dive.
Keep those questions coming. And best of luck on your journey.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.